Mansfield Park is this place in Muncie, Indiana that I'm pretty sure Jane Austen used to base her novel off of. It's about this girl, Fanny Price, who, like, if you thought Catherine Morland wasn't a heroine, just get ready, because Fanny's even less. Like, all she does is, like, sit around not talking to people for, like, 100 pages, depending on your edition of the book. Her family doesn't have a lot of money, so her rich aunt and uncle, the Bertrams, they have a lot of money, so they decide to adopt her. And there's the Uncle Sir Thomas. He's pretty scary, and he, like, owns slaves, which is kind of a problem. And then the Aunt Lady Bertram just, like, she doesn't really do anything. She sits on the couch with her pug and takes a lot of naps. Then there's Tom, and he's just really wasteful. And then there's Edmund, who wants to be a clergyman, and he's, like, the most millennial of the 19th century, like, still living in his parents' basement, just playing video games all day. Then there's Mariah and Julia, and they're just kind of dumb, and they just think Fanny's useless. Oh, and then there's the other aunt, Mrs. Norris, whose favorite pastime is treating Fanny like shit, and Fanny doesn't really care for that. Like, none of them are really nice to her. They all say that she's less than them, and Edmund's the only one that really talks to her. So she kind of has a crush on Edmund, which is really weird, because they're cousins, but I guess that was normal then? I don't know. But this one day, they have their friends come over, the Crawfords, and they're just, like, trouble with a capital T. Like, there's Henry, who's just this real player, and, like, he's flirting with Mariah, even though she's engaged to Mr. Rushworth. He's a real idiot, though. But then Julia gets really mad because she also likes Henry. And then Henry's sister, Mary, she's pretty immoral. Like, she makes fun of Edmund for wanting to be a clergyman, but she, like, must be really hot or something, because Edmund's like, yeah, I'll still take her. And so Fanny's just kind of like, the fun? Okay. So, this one day, Tom's like, let's put on a play while Dad's gone. And everyone's pretty cool with it, except for Edmund and Fanny. And, I guess plays were immoral, and, like, Sir Thomas wouldn't like it, but eventually they get Edmund to change his mind. And then Sir Thomas comes home, and he's all mad, and he's like, why is there a play happening in my house? So they all have to go home. But then Mariah marries Mr. Rushworth. But don't worry, the book's not over yet. There's still like 300 pages, depending on your edition of the book. Then Henry Crawford decides, I'm gonna marry Fanny Price. Didn't see that coming. So he helps her brother William get promoted in the Navy, and he, like, uses it as the opposite of blackmail. Like, I did this thing, so, now you have to marry me. And, like, Fanny's like, no. And he decides he'll just keep asking and get her family to gang up on her, but she still keeps saying no. So, I mean, where's Elizabeth Bennet when you need her? Meanwhile, Edmund and Mary are, like, still kind of a thing. He's not really sure he likes her, but he's gonna propose anyway. And Fanny's like, that is a bad idea. But what can you do? So then Fanny goes to see her family in Portsmouth because Sir Thomas was all like, you need to appreciate the life we gave you. And she does, because it kind of sucks. Like, they're really white trash, and while she's there, guess who shows up? Henry. And he proposes again, and she's like, no, were you listening? Apparently not. And then after that point, everything just kind of, like, goes to hell. Like, Jane Austen was just like, I'm sick of these people, we need to end this. Like, Tom gets sick and almost dies. There's this scandal between Henry and Mariah, and Mr. Rushworth's like, well, gee, I should just, like, get a divorce, this sucks. And then Julia goes and elopes with Tom's actor friend, Mr. Yates. And then Sir Thomas is just, like, freaking out. And then Mary defends Henry and Mariah, and Edmund's like, well, that's it. I'm not marrying her. And then Fanny comes back and everyone's like, yeah, you're boring, but at least you don't disgrace the family name. But then Tom gets better, and Julia's husband turns out okay, and Mariah has to go live with freaking Mrs. Norris, but they both hate it. And then Edmund and Fanny get married, which is, again, really weird, but that's basically the end.